about that group reflects my thoughts about other people in the world. And our own biases can come into play in our clinical work, our research, or academic work. For instance, if you have a bias that families should have two parents, one of whom is a man and one of whom is a woman, you may decide to study same-gender families, same-gender parent families, and look for psychopathology. There's a bias there. If your bias is a family should have a mother and a father, and you study families where there are two mothers or two fathers, and look for what's wrong with the family, you may be revealing your own bias. Interestingly enough, would you do the same study for a family where there is one mother and one father? And why or why not? So bias in our research is very, very subtle sometimes. But that's why often it's great to do research in a group, because each of us can help the other notice their own sense of bias and help check that and improve the research that we do, which then informs the practice that we have and the ways that we treat our patients. Each one of us is responsible for defeating prejudicial and stereotypical comments. We talked about stereotypes being cognitions and prejudice being feelings. There's a behavior component, and that's discrimination. As we tackle the affective and the cognitive, we have an impact on the behavior. And we reduce the amount of discrimination, the behavior, the behavioral expression of prejudice and stereotype by stopping the affective and the cognitive piece of this. And stereotypes are often made because people fail to test their own generalization. I believe what I believe. I don't need to find out anything else. It works for me. Well, it may work for you on one level, but I wonder if there's another level that it doesn't work for you. And you won't know unless you check. And that's the challenge for each one of us, is to check our generalizations, to make sure that they're not stereotypes. And most people stereotype or make assumptions based on appearances and don't check their assumptions against the truth. How many of you have had an experience where somebody has made a decision about you based on what you look like? Perhaps how old you are, what color your skin is, what your gender is, the quality or the cut of your clothes. An old saying says, don't judge a book by its cover. Very true. I just took my 6-year-old to the library. He grabbed a book. He said, let's get this one. I said, why do you want to get this one? He said, well, the cover looks good. I said, but you're not going to be reading the cover. You're going to be reading inside. Don't you want to take a look inside and see what it's about? Oh, okay. And 2 or 3 books he grabbed, one he put back. He says, I don't think I want to read about this. I said, okay, well, it's a good idea that we took a look inside, isn't it? He said, yeah, because I would have brought it home and I had to bring it back and not ever read it. I said, it's better to leave it here. Somebody else can check it out. He learned that you can't judge a book by its cover. That's true for us as adults as well. When people choose to be silent, the message is often sent that inappropriate or stereotypical remarks or assumptions are acceptable and even condoned. Many times over history, silence has equaled death. And folks, in retrospect, have looked back and said, I wish I had said something. But that won't change what has already gone on. But if we can learn from our history and give voice when something is not right, when we know that what is being said or what is being done is based on stereotypes, discrimination is what is being done there. And when we can, you can't fight every battle, when we can intervene, because silence lets these kinds of things flourish. We can choose to unlearn our assumptions, but it's up to us to make that choice. Most people haven't gotten into the areas of health and human genomics and healthcare provision because they wanted to give bad care to patients. So it's our choice to see what we do, understand what we think, be aware of how we feel, and how that impacts our choice and what we say to people and how we treat them. It's our job as healthcare providers to make the best choice. Thank you.